Peace to the Chaos Squad. What's up? What's up? What's up, Patreon family? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just got through watching Spider-Man into what is it called? Into the Spider-Verse and Enter the Spider-Verse. It was a pretty cool movie. I watched it with my son. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. I'm gonna do a real quick decode on it, and I got some clips from it which will turn this thing up and make it more interesting to build upon, right? If you haven't seen it, go see it. Basically what they're talking about is the quantum realm and then the aspect of polarity. Like and alike are same. Hold on, let me show y'all this real quick. Like and alike are the same, like and alike are the same. And understanding that you're in this universe or in this multiverse of madness, and things are supposed to happen that might be deemed as treacherous or bad or hurtful or painful, right? It doesn't take away from the encompassing energy that just is. So this just is energy is what's permeating your being. So you got to remove yourself from, I get it, you know, you have feelings and emotions about things, right? But a dog dies, right, in Asia or whatever, and that dog dying actually saves a busload of kids. You see what I'm saying? So this thing is interconnected, interwebbed, and interlocked in so many different ways that sometimes the painful stuff might seem like it doesn't make sense, but you know what they say in the Bible, God always has a plan. There's always some interconnected web that ties everything together. I'll give you a great example of this. My brother-in-law, his best friend had transitioned, right? Long story short, he used to spend all his time with him. And he used to kick it with him. It was his man, like, you know, they was down day one till day one. He always wanted to try to have kids. He could never have kids. Long story short, his partner, his best friend, transitions, right? And he dies, and all of a sudden it leads to my brother-in-law end up having his first kid. But one of the intricate parts of that was one, that's him coming back through because the kid actually came around his birthday, like 2 days off, right? Which is absolutely amazing. A whole year later. And then two, he ended up getting in a relationship, spending time with this new female. Long story short, voila, baby number one. So now, when you look at this thing and you understand that, right, and how this thing is interconnected, you know, you might say to yourself, well, what if he just, you know, what if he stayed alive and you know the kid was still, and somehow the kid might be still here. Hey, you never know, and that's for we will never find out. But the bigger idea or the bigger concept of it is you have to understand the good with the bad. The you have to take everything as a experience that's gonna help you lead your way. So, for instance, you get in a car wreck, boom, it's a bad. It seems like a bad thing, but long story short, it unfolds into a good thing because now you got the brand new car you want. You feel me? So it's one of these things that we have to understand to the core. And a big aspect of this in the movie itself was, and spoiler alert, it's, you know, it's a cartoon movie, but spoiler alert. But basically the encompassing energy was his father dying. Now, his father dying in a reality that he had, or in a dimension that he was in, that he's actually in. But since he caused some chain of effects to happen in another dimension, now his father has to die because he saved somebody else's life. So it's this thing gets interconnected, interwebbed, and all that good stuff. And I'm and we're gonna watch some clips And we're going to dive into it because I'm going to really break it down. But the basis of this thing is the god, the enemy in the movie Spot. Spot. Now Spot is black and white. And black and white we know is what? Polarity. So Spot is an interdimensional web, if you will. He's the one that's actually entangling this thing and being able to create havoc, if you will, or like and alike is the same, right? So when y'all see it, y'all understand more and more. So in him being this black and white, right? One thing Miles Morales said was, "Man, you're my enemy," because he's looking at him like, "Nah, you're not even strong enough." But he is. But what he's saying is, you're gonna have to understand who I am, right? Because he was like, "You created me, Miles," and basically what he's saying is, you're gonna have to understand who I am, because I am a part of your journey. The seven laws of Tahuti. It's an undeniable law that you can't shift and shake. Now, once you become conscious and understanding as a whole, everything will start to get easier. Now, I get it. You'll still have these human emotions. Nobody never wants to see nobody die, or nobody never wants to see nobody get hurt or transition. Just think about DC Young Fly. That's the same. See, think about him. So his wife transitions, right? Now he's left with the three kids. Now, it, the journey couldn't unfold for him to come out. Oh, I see why she transitioned. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because whatever, we don't know. That's the thing. But the whole idea is to kind of look at it, or look at this world as experiences, adventures. Not saying you cannot have no feelings, because we are having a human experience. We're not going to trick ourselves with that. It's more so just having the understanding. You feel me? The understanding of it is the key, right? And obviously, again, I'm trying to be real compassionate here about it. We get it. If somebody transitions, that might be something tough to deal with. You feel me? But there might be some understanding or some light that comes into the fold later on down the line, and that's what I really want people to understand. So the law of polarity is everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. So understand to the core, right, that you are here to experience this world. And let's put it like this. For instance, right, you might have, let's say, a op, right? Now let's just say like you have somebody that's an enemy of yours or whatever. Now you wouldn't even wish this on your enemy, but whatever. And your enemy transitions. Now on your side of it, you're like, oh, thank God, I don't got to worry about him no more, whatever, right? On the other side, that enemy had a family, right? So they might be feeling some type of way, right? So the real game is to get out of the whole game itself. Remove yourself from the whole game and get into the real game, which is God, which is power, which is being the ultimate observer of it all. And I'm not saying it's an easy task, family. I just want y'all to understand that to the core. It's just the law of Tahuti. You feel me? So it's not nothing you can't, man, why is this happening to me? Right? You still have to have this kind of, not saying you have to have that kind of encompassing energy. I just want you to understand the law. So let's watch this clip real quick, and then we're going to dive into the quantum. Yes, sir. So a big play on this is also that the powers that be want these certain kids to be able to start understanding that we're trying to get to the multiverse of madness, and we're trying to understand this. So some of these kids out here is gonna have the code, right? Now, when they're watching these shows like this Spiderverse and stuff like that, they're priming their mind to find out the the interdisciplinary study to transfer into other dimensions. You feel me? So this thing gets real deep, right? And this is good because we need kids like that. But Miles basically, wants to go to wants to learn about the quantum, other realities, and just like he said, the electrons, dark energy, and all that other stuff. So that's beautiful, right? We want our kids to go through that because if they're able to do that, then we're able to manipulate time and space. You feel me? And obviously, Miles Morales, he's black, so obviously they're saying, "Hey, it's gonna be one of y'all niggas that break the code for real." So that's important, family. So these kids today, man, I'm telling you, because and this is another thing. Miles Morales was 15. 15 is the six. He's basically the heart chakra. This movie was actually off the chain. At the end was kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying, when they showed his double ganger or shadow self, you feel me? Yeah, it's kind of deep. So, but I wanted to establish this point because he is a kid that's interested in interstellar travel. You feel me? So now, obviously, uh, uh, as he's going through these other dimensions, right, and realities, as he's going through these other realities, he has to be cognizant of the seven laws of Tahuti because every law in this bitch was basically in play here. Every single law, mentalism, polarity, correspondence, everything was in play here. Law of rhythm, right? Everything was in play here. So, and they showed it in such a way, and it's a lot for me to decode it all in just one sitting like this. But they showed it in such a way to where you can pick up on it just by his demeanor, his actions, and everything. God damn, I could have really just ran the gamut on the whole book movie, and maybe I'll do it some other time. But I didn't think the movie was that deep to tap into. Okay, so he's going through these different realities, right? And in these different realities, he's changing the fabric of time, and it's basically him doing the butterfly effect. You feel me? A tornado in Colorado will affect the dynamics of a family in Asia, whatever, right? Because this family is watching that, and there's so many different interstellar, interconnectedness that's happening, right? But the key is, and just like we was talking about in the dark energy or the quantum realm, is that you can change your reality right now. You're not going to go to like another uh, reality or universe, right? You're you're constantly changing your reality right now by this butterfly effect. So when the electron goes into that dark energy, it's coming out with the light, and in it coming out with the light is a new adventure or new code that you can actually transpire to. You feel me? That's what we're talking about in this Dr. Joe Dispenza book and everything like that. So in you doing these quantum leaps, if you will, right, and actually getting into your vision desired, right, you have the key or the energy to collapse the wave. You feel me? And that's all Miles was basically doing, is just collapsing these waves. So now in him collapsing these waves, right? Or well, he collapsed the wave because he saved that family. He saved that family, which wasn't supposed to be saved. And now since he saved that family, now his whole reality is in shambles. You feel me? So that's how this thing works. So with you, what I was trying to get at is whenever you're thinking about entering into a new universe, just think about you shifting your other reality. So you was a person with a job, now you're a person without a job. You feel me? You was a person working here, now you're working at this specific place. Um, you had this type of car, now you have this type of car. You feel me? So the shift can happen is just like that, right? So you have to be privy. So for instance, right, there was a time when we was like, okay, let's just get, instead of us getting a Lincoln Navigator because we couldn't find the right one or whatever, right? We said well, let's just go with this Ford Expedition, right? The same thing, whatever, right? We almost went with this Ford, right? Long story short, we held out, kept the vision desired, right? Held out, kept the vision desired. And I can't remember how it was interconnected, but the guy called us for the Lincoln, right? And long story short, he said, "Hey, I found your Lincoln, da 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 da. You want to come in and see it?" We said, "Yes, boom." We went in, seen it, we loved it, got it, right? So what if we was in that damn Ford Expedition? Chaos in the blood, baby. So that's how interconnected, interdimensional beings we are. You feel me? So, so you want to stay steadfast on your vision desires, whatever that might be, right? You can collapse the wave and get that Ford Expedition, but if that's not what you really want, then you got to keep on moving in the direction to collapse the wave until it actually manifests out here in the third dimension. You feel me? Let's keep it rolling. I'm gonna play a little bit of this one real quick.
What?
This is Spot.
I think I.
So this is Spot. He's the like and the like are the same. He's a polarity. He's going into other dimensions and seeing other realities, right? And this is just showing you basically uh, uh, this is just showing you an aspect of Miles Morales because they're saying like this is his enemy or whatever, but it's actually just an aspect of him, which is polarity. You feel me? And him understanding uh, uh, the poles that he's about to ride. Tell you, man, these kids get hey, these kids getting a boatload, baby. These kids getting some stuff that we didn't have as kids. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't traveling interdimensional. I was sitting there talking to my son. I'm like, he telling me about interdimensional travel now and stuff. I'm like, yeah, damn, because the first one they had that too. I think in the Spiderverse. Well, in the one with they got so many Spider-Mans, it's ridiculous. But the human one and then the cartoon one, I didn't see that one, but I'm thinking it's the same thing because the title was damn near the same. So yeah, that's Spot. That's the black and white. That's the polarity. That's you understanding that your like and alike are the same. So whatever you do, right, you have to just understand it as not a good or bad thing, not a right or wrong, but just yin and yang. It's a balanced flow, energy that's just happening. You feel me? So when we talk about yin and yang, we talk about positive and negative forces, right? Now, there is no good or bad. So you got to think about it as just the whole and just understand the whole story, right? You understand the whole encompassing story, then you'll be like, oh, that's why my father died. You know what I'm saying? Hey, because my dad died at 2, but maybe he was supposed to transition so I can actually set out this adventure that I'm having now and be able to speak in front of y'all, right? Hey, that's what I'm saying. This thing is real, real trippy, like, right? So just understand the whole. I had to go through them drug adventures and the the detox stage, right? So I can able to rise back up and then have this story that I'm basically sharing with y'all and giving y'all my Hebrews adventure as well too. You see what I'm saying? So I had to go through it, right? Just like you had to go through it. I had to go through the rape to understand myself from a whole different spiritual being, right? Now I get it. Some of these traumas are hard and tough to take, right? And it's like, damn, what the fuck? Why me? But then you just got to understand that you came down here to take on these traumas so you can learn something new about yourself. So, understanding the whole story is you being a God. Understanding and observing the whole thing is you being a God. There is no good, there is no bad. It just is, right? You got to think about it. An animal eats, a lion eats a zebra, right? Is that good or bad? He needs to eat. That's what he came down here to do, right? So is that good or bad? Or is it just is? Just is what it is, baby. You feel me? So you know what I mean? When you see it like that and understand that, then you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. There is no devil or Jesus. There's no body being bad. Now there's low vibrational energy. Obviously, we don't like, pedophiles and murderers and stuff like that. Like we think they the scum of the earth, right? And that's and see, we don't, but that's just low vibrational energy, right? So that's like trash energy. You feel me? And even in that, we just got to understand why it happened and observe the whole picture, even though we want to kill the motherfuckers, which we sure will, but, or, whatever. Okay, let me go to this next one. Let me go to this next one.
Let me go! This isn't what we talked about!
Now, this is in between Miles. Miles is getting attacked by all the Spider-Man and women. And because he wants to save his dad, but he has to understand he can't, right? Well, the other Spider-Mans are saying, hey, you can't, or you're gonna ruin the whole world. You're gonna break up the web and the connection that we are in, right? And long story short, he ends up breaking away from the Spider-Man and trying to save his dad, but and he's trying to do his own part. So right there, Miles Morales, he's basically coming into the space of saying, hey man, I'm changing this reality regardless. Fuck what y'all talking about. You feel me? And he's like, hey, this is what it is. If I'm an anomaly, then I'm gonna act bad in this bitch. You feel me? And I'm gonna break the fabrics of time and we're gonna see what happens, right? So because this is the biggest thing. You don't have to listen to nobody but yourself, right? And remember, you're God. So in you being God, you have the choice. Like Miles Morales, he has the choice to say, nah, I'm gonna go save my dad. Now what? And he could be destroying the whole world or whatever from their point of view and their vantage point. Remember the movie what was that movie called? Knock at the Cabins, right? It's the same kind of concept, but they were on the side of saying, hey, look, we had these visions, these dreams, and if we don't do this, then the world's gonna da 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 da, right? So it's the same thing with Miles. He's just making the choice to say, well, I'm gonna just do it. Fuck the world, right? So now they're gonna go into part two, and then we're gonna see what part two brings us because part two is actually gonna, you know, shed some light and some clarity on the thing because at the end of this movie, he ends up going in another dimension or another reality and seeing that his father has transitioned, right? And his uncle is running the boat or whatever, but now he meets himself, the fatherless self, right? And he has braids and stuff like that. But the fatherless self that he meets is, they show him as kind of dark and uh, kind of like a bad guy type of thing, shadow side or whatever. So in that's actually a beautiful play, right? To understand your shadow self. So in part two, they're going to definitely go heavy on the shadow self and that dynamic and dichotomy of him having a father, him not having a father, but then also giving the holistic understanding of the shadow, right? And in that journey and that process of the whole thing. So yeah, family man, it was a good, very good cartoon movie thing. Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Um, um, and yeah, hey, be on the lookout for more decodes because I plan on doing these a lot of them. But this one was interesting. This one was good. And shout out to Lamar for giving us the light to watch it because I probably would have never watched it, but I'm glad he said something because it was an interesting movie to say the least. Y'all know what it is, family. Peace to the gods.